Hey guys, how you going? Okay, I'm doing a recorded video today because I've got wood on the way. It's coming this morning and I'm not sure what time, so I thought it's probably going to interrupt a live stream, so I do a video instead. Thank you guys so much for yesterday. I really appreciate that. You've helped me stay warm. Okay, End Wokeness said New York's next mayor is a radical Muslim socialist from Africa who only got citizenship 7 years ago. New York is forked. Okay, remember watch New York and watch California? Yep, I'm watching. MJ Truth Ultra said, does anyone else feel like everything is so incredibly, noticeably stupid right now? Yes, I do. Have for a while. Okay, V said, the E-Safety Commissioner's 4-day trip to the WEF cost Australian taxpayers $40,971. Are you angry yet? You should be. Last year, she earned $457,844 for a job that was created by the Australian government to censor future posts like this. Why would a trip cost over $10,000 a day? I've achieved more in 4 days than I could in 4 years, Miss Inman Grant told Roberts at the Senate Environment and Communications Legislation Committee on February 22nd. I asked directly the decision makers what they are doing to make their platforms safer. I was sharing our leadership and our model in terms of how we're tracking online safety, more like how they're tracking people online. Australian taxpayers have been billed over $40,000 for the E-Safety Commissioner's 4-day trip to the World Economic Forum 2024 annual meeting where she pushed for tighter rules on online safety. Mind you, she's going to make it over 16s for YouTube. But hey, they can still access Pornhub and all that. Okay? So that's really what they're doing about under 16 safety, nothing. She's worried about how far down the rabbit hole kids are going to go. That's what she's worried about. In January, Miss Inman Grant, accompanied by staff members, spent 4 days meeting senior executives in the artificial intelligence and immersive technology field at the WEF in Davos, Switzerland. At a Senate estimate in February, One Nation Senator Malcolm Roberts asked Miss Inman Grant in what capacity she was present at the WEF meeting, what was the cost to taxpayers, and whether staff travelled with her at public expense, which they probably did. Okay, let's go back. Christian Emergency Alliance said, Canada, this is wrong on so many levels. Muslims have gathered in front of the Notre Dame Basilica in Montreal, a Christian cathedral, to hold Islamic prayer. They then tell a woman playing music in the square to turn the volume down and respect their worship. They disrespect Christian holy sites, then insist on being catered to. This nonsense must end. Now, this next one, I can't play the actual sound, but what we can do, I've been down. It's a song, Count It Out. Smiling through the taste of blood in my own mouth. I got bruises and broken bones. But they don't know I ain't in this ring alone. It sounds better with the music. What I might do is I might bookmark this to play on Rumble. But he's just saying, don't give up. We're close. Okay? He was born to be a do-or-die, make it righter, don't throw that towel just yet. Okay? Don't cash that in that last bet. Because I get harder when I'm tired. I'm a fighter. It would sound better with the music. I get back up, that's what I do. I didn't soldier on this far, just to lose. Okay, take your shot. Is that all you got? Oh, it doesn't sound good without music. I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. I was born to be a do-or-dyer. Okay, make it righter. Don't throw in that towel just yet. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the medical folder just so that, because that's the stuff I play on Rumble, so. Okay, the Vigilant Fox, RFK Jr. just walked into Congress and set the place on fire. They were not ready for this. Rep Dingle thought she had Kennedy cornered on drug prices, and he dismantled her argument in one fell swoop. But the real firestorm came when he called out the one Democrat rep who took more big pharma money than anyone else on the committee. Before you fix a broken system, you have to be honest about how broken it truly is. That's how HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. opened his testimony before Congress by offering a brutal assessment of America's healthcare crisis. It was a warning shot. The United States remains the sickest developed nation, he said, and yet we spend $4.5 trillion annually on healthcare, 2 to 3 times more per capita than comparable nations. Kennedy sounded the alarm. This isn't just wasteful, it's unsustainable. Healthcare costs are growing faster than the economy, yet outcomes are getting worse. Americans are paying more to stay sick. If we don't stanch this trend, we will ransom our children to bankruptcy, servitude and disastrous health consequences. We won't solve this problem by throwing more money at it, he added. We must spend smarter. His goal? Strip out bureaucracy, realign incentives and redirect funds towards things that actually improve health, not just manage disease. That's when Kennedy unveiled his historic 7-part budget proposal, a sweeping reform plan designed to flip the healthcare system on its head. Tackle mental health and addiction head-on. These issues now rival chronic disease in their impact. HHS will aggressively combat the opioid crisis, especially the spread of synthetic drugs like fentanyl. Prioritise nutrition and healthy lifestyles. The President's budget requests $94 billion in discretionary funds to support these priorities, including the Administration for a Healthy America. Clean up the US food system. We will equip FDA to remove harmful chemicals from food and packaging and close the GRAs, generally recognised as safe loophole. Refocus NIH and CDC research priorities. We'll end gain-of-function experiments and eliminate funding for research based on radical gender ideology. At the CDC, we're returning to core missions, tracking diseases, investigating outbreaks and cutting waste. Eliminate DEI funding and fight real poverty. We will move beyond lip service to communities of colour and take meaningful action to address their needs. Modernise cybersecurity and health IT. The AI revolution has arrived. We're using it to manage healthcare data securely and speed up drug approvals. Rebuild public trust. Trust that eroded through years of industry capture, waste and misplaced priorities. We'll launch a new era of transparency and public service, creating an honest, science-driven HHS that answers to the President, to Congress and the American people. Kennedy's plan landed like a thunderclap and the pushback began almost immediately. Not everyone in the room welcomed Kennedy's vision. Rep. Diana DeGette, zeroed in on concerns that NIH scientists could face retaliation for speaking out. She pressed Kennedy to commit unequivocally that no disciplinary action would be taken against those who signed a letter questioning his leadership. It should be an easy answer because it's illegal, she said. Kennedy insisted his goal was the opposite, that HHS under his direction would commit that we are absolutely depoliticising science at NHS for the first time. Then he slammed the Biden-era politicisation of science across all agencies. This is what he was working to rid. The Biden admin, Miss Chairwoman, the Biden administration politicised the science, and I just gave you 3 of thousands of examples of how they did that. But when asked about the letter directly, he said it was the first he'd heard of it. Then Rep. Frank Pallone jumped in. He was visibly rattled over Kennedy's stance on certain procedures, vaccines mainly. He launched into a tirade accusing Secretary Kennedy of shutting the public out of vaccine policy decisions. You've made a number of major decisions about them, he snapped. There's been no public comment process, no accountability. Then came the outburst. What are you afraid of? Are you just afraid of receiving public comments on proposals? Kennedy, unfazed, responded steadily. We have a public process for regulating vaccines. It's called the ACIP committee and it's a public committee. That's when Pallone lost the plot. You fired the committee. You fired the ACIP, he shouted. Wrong move. Kennedy shot back without blinking. I fired people who had conflicts with the pharmaceutical industry. Then he delivered the line that ended it. That committee's been a template for medical malpractice for 30 years. Pallone tried to recover but was left stuttering. I can't. And just like that, the credibility gap was laid bare. Kennedy turned the spotlight back on Pallone and lit a firestorm amongst the Democrats. It was epic. If I can take a minute to respond to something Congressman Pallone said, he reminded Pallone of a conversation he had 15 years ago when Pallone was a vocal advocate for families harmed by these procedures. You were very adamant about it, Kennedy said. You were the leading member of Congress on that issue. Then came the bombshell revelation. Since then, you've accepted $2 million from pharmaceutical companies and contributions, more than any other member of this committee. Kennedy didn't accuse, he simply pointed out what had changed. And your enthusiasm for supporting the old ACIP committee, which was completely rife and pervasive with pharmaceutical conflicts, seems to be an outcome of those contributions. The room erupted. Democrats tried to shout him down. Chairman Buddy Carter called for order and asked Kennedy to retract the comment. Kennedy didn't argue, he simply smiled and said they're retracted. But the damage was done, the cat was already out of the bag. Bobby sat back and watched the chaos he'd created with a slight smile. He knew he'd just exposed Pallone. As the hearing resumed, Rep. Debbie Dingell took the floor and steered the conversation toward drug pricing. She tried to box in Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with a loyalty test to fail Biden-era drug pricing policies. This is why Democrats work so hard to pass the Inflation Reduction Act and create the Medicare Drug Price Negotiation Program. Do you support the Drug Price Negotiation Program and commit to using the tools and authorities provided to you under the law to drive down prescription drug costs for the Americans? But Kennedy wasn't playing along, he schooled her. He pointed to the historic vision laid out by President Trump, one aimed at delivering real system-wide relief. We're using every tool that's given to us, and President Trump has ordered me to do something that no other president has, which is to establish across the board most favoured nations so that we're not paying more than Europeans are. We're in negotiations right now today with the drug companies over that. We're going to be able to lower drug prices during this administration more than any administration in history. Trump's plan isn't about party politics, it's about results, and Kennedy made that crystal clear. Rep. Dingell was left with a phased expression on her face as she came to understand that Maha meant actual change, not Democrat talking points. Then came a topic few in Washington like to revisit. The 340,000 unaccompanied migrant children lost during the Biden administration. It was truly heartbreaking what the previous administration allowed HHS to do. Rep. Kat Kamick didn't hold back. She detailed how HHS failed to properly vet sponsors and how law enforcement was denied access to critical data. These kids were sent to unsafe addresses, even non-existent ones, she said. They were exposed to trafficking and exploitation. Kennedy didn't try to shift blame, but he did explain what went wrong. They were emphasising speed over security, he said. There were political reasons for that. They wanted the optics of empty detention centres. In horrifying detail, he described traffickers picking up dozens of children with fake IDs and shipping them to parking lots, strip clubs and container yards. One person got 42 kids to one address, Kennedy said. He vowed to stop it. Under his leadership, HHS now requires DNA testing, ID checks, income verification and background screening for every sponsor. No exceptions. This is what accountability looks like when the cameras are gone. Finally, Rep. John James brought the conversation back to the big picture. He asked Kennedy how we could dismantle the perverse incentives that reward sickness over health, where every actor in the system profits from disease rather than wellness. Kennedy agreed completely. At every level of the system, it's just a bundle of perverse incentives, he said, that basically puts every actor in the system, pharmaceutical companies, providers, hospitals and insurance companies, in an advantageous position to increase the number of sick Americans. The way forward, Kennedy said, is to realign incentives around outcomes. We want outcome-based medical care. We want value-based medical care, he explained. We're working through the Centre for Medical Intervention to explore a number of pilot projects that do just that, and then we want to roll them out across the system. Kennedy added he's already meeting with the nation's top insurers to make it happen. They want to do it too, he said. And there you go. Very interesting stuff. Okay, back to Australia here. Cat A said Libertarian David Limerick, MP, speaks out against the under-16 social media ban, questioning why social media is dangerous, yet Pornhub is not, emphasising all will be required to give ID as the technology won't work to identify children, praying it's a dismal failure due to government incompetence, I'm sort of hoping it'll be about as successful as the COVID Safe app. Let's hope so. Then Pepe Deluxe said, nothing can stop what is coming. You ready for this one? Let's have a listen to what he says.
So, the president signed an executive order just this week threatening to defund sanctuary cities for their policies. Why not just arrest the leaders who are harboring and shielding illegal aliens, actually terrorists, from deportation?
Wait to see what's coming.
So...
Oh, wait till you see what's coming. Wall Street Ape said American grocery stores are selling garlic from China grown in raw human sewage. It's bleached, dyed white and sold to Americans. This is real. The problem is so prevalent that a 2024 bill was introduced, Sewage Garlic Act. Congress refused to pass the bill. Ask yourself a question. Why would China be dyeing garlic white? Is it because they think the consumer likes it nice and bright and pristine and white? Or is it because it's grown in raw human sewage and they need to change colour from black to white? I heard this on the news the other day and I just had to find out what the heck this is all about. And here's what I found. Apparently this problem is so prevalent that a bill had to be introduced by Senator Rick Scott. Senator Rick Scott introduced the Stopping Eating Waste and Guarantee Excellence for Garlic Assurance and Regulatory legislation to inhibit Chinese sewage garlic imports Act to ban the import of garlic from communist China following reports that the garlic is grown in raw human sewage. Now, I just want to say everyone mentioned here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and all of this is theory until proven fact. Then it's bleached and harvested in important conditions, often with slave labour. Senator Scott also released a public service announcement urging families to look out for communist China sewage garlic when grocery shopping. Get rid of sewage garlic. The Sewage Garlic Imports Act of 2024, S3590, introduced in the 118th Congress on January 16, 2024, by Senator Rick Scott, did not pass. It was referred to the Senate Committee on Finance but received no further action. Our representatives have again sold us and our health out for corporate profits. Wow. Okay, Illuminati Bot said what changed in the last 30 years. Since 1990, increase, right? Disease or disorder. ADHD has increased by 819%, Alzheimer's by 299%, autism by 2,094%, bipolar disease in youth 10,833%, celiac disease 1,111%, chronic fatigue syndrome 11,027%, depression's up 280%, diabetes is up 305%, fibromyalgia is up 7,272%, hypothyroidism is up 702%, lupus is up 787%, osteoarthritis is up 449%, and sleep apnea is up 430%. Now, what do you think's happened since, what's increased since 1990? Would that happen to be certain procedures? In a certain industry? Put it this way, they go broke if they fix people, okay? If they cure people, they go broke. So what's their incentive to cure people? They don't have one. Sorry, just had to cough. Dr. Russ McGregor put all the frogs in there. Pepe Deluxe said not all MAGAs are Anons, not all Anons are MAGA. All Anons are MAGA. Not all MAGA approve everything Trump does. All Anons approve of everything Trump does because they know it's part of the plan. Some people say they are Anons but are divided. Anons aren't divided. Most MAGA don't even know about the plan. All Anons support the plan. MAGA may all have different goals or objectives or focus. Anons are one team with one objective and one goal to support the plan. Shills aren't Anons, they aren't even MAGA, most times they aren't even human. Oh, okay. Take that one with a grain of salt. Now, table salt. Just have a sip of my tea here. Sorry, I can't even pause the recording. Table salt said, watch Ontario School Counsellor Catherine Cronus object to a land acknowledgement at a school board meeting. The board then suspends her indefinitely. Suspending an elected official for questioning leftist scripture is a blatant attack on free speech. Okay, let's have a listen to this lady.
Hi, I'm Catherine Cronus, and I just wanted to say, as a parent member of the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board, I would like to emphasize that Principal does not speak on my behalf with regards to the land acknowledgement. In my view, the board's imposition of a land acknowledgement during our school council meetings undermines the democratic process and constitutes a form of compelled speech, which I believe contravenes the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. There is no school board policy mandating its inclusion. In my opinion, the sentiments implied by the land acknowledgement are political in nature, highly controversial, and therefore divisive and inappropriate within a government institution. And I respectfully request that my objection be noted in the minutes of this meeting.
Oh dear. Now she got suspended. Okay, that is Canadian welcome to, what is it? Land acknowledgement. It's all ridiculous. We are all one people. It doesn't matter which country you're in. That shouldn't be happening. It's just divisive. That's all that is. MAGA Times Daily News said POTUS fire the Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough has to go. Okay, what's this one?
She's unelected. She's unknown to most Americans. And yet she's quietly wielding veto power over the MAGA agenda in the United States Congress. Her name is Elizabeth McDonough. She is the Senate parliamentarian, and she's become the most powerful Democrat you've never heard of. Her official job is to advise the Senate on whether certain legislative provisions meet the rules for reconciliation, the fast-track process that allows bills to pass with 50 votes instead of 60. But unofficially, she's become the de facto gatekeeper of what can and cannot be included in Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill. McDonough was appointed during the Obama years by Harry Reid, and now she's systematically dismantling the Trump movement's core legislative priorities behind closed doors with zero accountability to voters. She's ruled that key MAGA proposals like defunding sanctuary cities, gutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and repealing EV mandates don't qualify under Senate budget rules. Her rationale, the provisions are incidental to spending. Now that interpretation gives her power to strip out almost any major policy, even if it saves billions of dollars. And she's not an elected official. She's a staff attorney. And her rulings are being decided as if she's a member of the Senate leadership, and they're binding, but they're not binding. Border enforcement allowing states to act independently, blocked. Civil service reform to fire bureaucrats at will, stripped out. Trump's plan to dissolve rogue agencies, gone. Stopping the EV takeover of the federal fleet, not allowed. Letting workers return taxpayer money they don't use, too incidental. This isn't red tape, it's sabotage. Under the guise of the Bird Rule, a rule designed to prevent non-budget items from slipping into spending bills, McDonough is deciding which parts of Trump's second-term agenda live or die. And Democrats love it. One Democrat senator called her decisions a firewall against anti-worker policies. So they know exactly what they're doing, and they're cheering it on. But here's the kicker. The parliamentarian can be overruled or fired. In 2001, Republicans fired the sitting parliamentarian who was opposing Bush tax cuts. Obama's judicial nominees were cleared after also getting rid of the Senate parliamentarian. And in 2021, Chuck Schumer threatened to fire her if she blocked his immigration push. Yet today, under Republican control, her rulings are treated as gospel. That's not procedure, that's surrender. So the next time someone tells you Trump's agenda can't move because of Senate rules, ask this: who's making the rules? And why is the GOP letting her call the shots? Elizabeth McDonough is not neutral. She's not elected. She's not above scrutiny. It's time to stop pretending that she is.
Yeah, well, when people aren't doing their job, normally they get fired for that. Okay, Tom Barry, South Africa, here in Australia, okay. A farmer's been threatened at gunpoint, held hostage and doused in petrol as his family home was burnt to the ground. Tonight, the trio behind the sickening attack north of Melbourne is still on the run. Wow. I betcha it's, Yeah, Albanese is Australia. The whole country is now a giant third world shithole. So they're on the run, but we don't get a description. 3 violent criminals on the run amongst the public, and police can't tell us what they look like. What happened to police sketches? Did the farmer never see them? What diversity? What strength? Yeah, now Jacinta will have to ban fire. Okay, anyway, we know where they're from. Welcome to South Africa, folks. Thanks, Albo. Keep them coming into the country and expect to see much more of this behaviour. So a lot of people are believing that it is some Africans that are doing this. Okay. What's this in response to? Lauren said, effing hell, does anyone think Australia should be put first? Australia's versus the agenda said, former Prime Minister Tony Abbott says we must give every possible support to heroic Ukraine because they're not just fighting for their own freedom and independence, they're fighting for everyone's freedom and independence. He's another puppet. F Ukraine, F Russia, F Israel, F Palestine, F Iran, F the climate scam, and F renewables. Put our country first. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these people. V said Australia will be closing its last remaining 6 coal plants, turning us into a third world country, while the third world is building lots of coal power stations, bringing them into the first world. We're literally floating on natural resources that never run out, yet we're forced to become poor while paying for unreliable solar and wind. This is a deliberate plan to destroy our nation and future. Coal plants around the world today. The EU has 468 and is building 27 more. Turkey has 56 and is building 93 more. South Africa has 79 and is building 24 more. India has 589 and is building 446 more. Philippines has 19, they're going to build another 60. South Korea has 58, they're going to build another 26. Japan has 90, they're going to build another 45. China has 2,363 and they're going to build another 1,171. Australia's planning to shut down its 6 remaining plants in order to save the world. Oh dear God. Somebody help me. Somebody help us Australians. Where's Trump? Okay, Senator Matt Canavan said the government claims that it's banning kids from YouTube because it drives kids down rabbit holes. Why does our government think it's their job to decide what people watch and listen to? Who exactly decides what is a rabbit hole? The government should never be given such power in a free country. This is why I voted against the social media ban, and I will continue to fight against this flagrant restriction on the free rights of young Australians. While YouTube had educational benefits for children, Miss Inman Grant said the platform had mastered persuasive design by employing opaque algorithms, subsequently driving users down rabbit holes that young children were powerless to fight against. Well, it might actually teach them something. They just want control, full control. This little CIA operator, Miss Inman Grant, wants to control Australia on behalf of the government. They just don't want you to know what people really think about the government, okay, other than what they show on TV. Lozzie B said, Dear Aussie men, wake the fuck up. Men from all over the West have taken a stand, now it's your turn. Australia, it's time to fucking rise. Okay, I know I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are already awake. You know what's going on. Let's have a listen.
For fuck's sake, how long is this going to fucking take until you people wake up to try to enslave our kids? You fucking morons who are out there fucking saying everything's okay, this is fine. That's not fucking fine. That's not fucking fine. If you can't wake up for yourself because you're a complete fucking coward, then wake up for your kids or your kids' kids. We're a free country. A free country. We are not a dictatorship yet, but we're heading there unless we rise up and stop it. And it's not just aimed at the women because there's so many women in the core, in the freedom parties. This is aimed at the men. Where are your fucking balls? They are doing this to your kids and your kids' kids, and you were given the responsibility to keep this country free. And you are failing your responsibility. So does that beer you're drinking taste good, is it? The one you gave freedom away for? Is it really sweet? Or is it really bitter in your fucking soul? You fucking cowards! Now fucking get off your bar stool, come outside and fight against these tyrants that are taking away our freedom. That is aimed at our kids. Our fucking kids. Find your balls.
I think he's a bit upset. What do you think?
For fuck's sake.
Okay, King Charlie said the only energy the Australian government produces is the attempted gaslighting of the nation. The Uni Party needs to go and be replaced with Pro-Australia Party. We are being dismantled in real time by a bunch of greedy, blood-sucking pirates. Daniel Andrews, the man who bankrupted Victoria, is mentoring the PM. Think about that. Albo and co don't care. They care for self only. Votes before values, and they'll drive Australia into the ground, which we already know, but, you know, sometimes it needs repeating. Now, this surprised me. Mario Norfall said Trump, NATO is going to become very strong with us. We're with them all the way. If you take a look at the numbers, we're with them. I've been asking them to go up 5% for a number of years, and they're going up to 5%. That's big from 2%. A lot of people didn't even pay the 2%. I think it's going to be very big news. Trump, the day begins in the beautiful Netherlands, off to the NATO meetings. The King and Queen are beautiful and spectacular people. Our breakfast meeting was great. Now it's off to the very important NATO meetings. The USA will be very well represented. Source, Truth Social. Erdogan, Trump talk trade, tanks and truce at NATO dinner. At their royal dinner meet-up in The Hague, Erdogan and Trump talked boosting energy ties, defence deals and aiming for $100 billion in US-Turkey trade. Erdogan thanked Trump for helping broker the Iran-Israeli ceasefire, raising concerns about Gaza and pushing for a humanitarian corridor. They also touched on ending the war in Ukraine and strengthening NATO's defence game. Interesting. We'll see what happens. I always like to wait and see what the plan is. Okay, and that's it for today, guys. I have to go because I'm getting wood delivered any minute now. So that's the only reason I didn't go live this morning, or I would have gone live. I should be back live probably tomorrow, hopefully. And I will see you guys then. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon.